around London today as well, because Insulate Britain are at it again. Oh joy, yes. Extinction Rebellion's more annoying cousin have decided to block 3 different crucial arterial routes across London this morning, bringing rush hour traffic to a halt. Some 50 activists have blocked the 3 major commuting routes of the North Circular Road at 2 spots, Blackwall Tunnel and the Wandsworth Bridge. All of those absolutely chock-a-block every single morning. I think even during lockdown they were. But of course, builders and angry motorists have not reacted well and have been dragging protesters out of the road before police could even arrive at Wandsworth Bridge. One driver urged other motorists to just drive over them in clashes with the activists sat in the road. Well, let's talk to my guest, Fiona Atkinson, about this. She's the spokeswoman for Insulate Britain, and despite telling you last time she was on that no one should listen to the show, she's decided to come back on anyway. Good morning to you, Fiona.
Nice to be back again, Julia. Just hoping we can manage it without the mute button this time, because I haven't got one, and that isn't fair.
OK, I haven't got one either, to be fair. I'm sitting at a desk in the middle of party conference.
Great.
Right, let's talk about this. Right, yet again, people going about their daily lives, trying to get their kids to school, trying to get to work, doing their jobs, being stopped by you guys. Haven't you raised enough awareness about insulating Britain? Can you stop what you're doing now?
We'd love to. It's not much fun and nobody wants to be out there, but we're just waiting for the government to get real about this and get back to us and say, yeah, they understand they need to take more direct action that's going to cut fuel poverty and cut our fossil fuel emissions.
Okay.
It's dead straightforward.
So if they don't, so basically you're going to keep doing this until the government, you're going to basically disrupt everybody until the government does what you say. Is that how we do things in a democracy?
Well, yes, this is called protest, and all citizens in a democracy are entitled to protest. It's just unfortunate that we have to take such extreme measures, because this is the only way that someone like me gets to talk to someone like you.
Right, OK, so it's not protest, though. It's illegal protest. These are not legal protests. Sitting in the road and blocking people going about their lawful business isn't the only form of protest you can have. You could be protesting in Hyde Park. You could protest outside Downing Street. You could do a perfectly legal protest and still have the government take notice. But you could be protesting outside the convention hall here in Manchester, where all the politicians actually are, and they would see your placards and your banners. But instead, you are disrupting ordinary members of the public who have no power over government policy apart from at election time, and you're stopping them from going about their lawful business. That doesn't feel very fair to most people.
Well, sadly, that's the situation we're in, where this is the only way to get the message across, because we've tried all that. We've done it for decades, and we're absolutely driven.
You've tried the democratic route, and now you're going down the undemocratic route.
We've tried various forms of protest, and now we're down the non-violent, disruptive route. This is non-violent protest, which has worked in the past. History has shown this has worked. The most uncomfortable stage is this stage, when people resist the change, but change has got to come. We've got
People resist the change. So wait, I need to clarify. Fiona, have you and your comrades at Insulate Britain, you've basically appointed yourselves in charge of this country, and you get to decide government policy, not the people elected by people in a democratic vote. You get to decide, and you're going to basically disrupt everyone's lives until you get your way. Is that how this country should be run now?
Can I just say, this isn't our policy. This is government targets. Government targets are brilliant. They've got some fabulous targets, really challenging targets to get down our carbon emissions, but they're not acting on it. We've actually got one of the leakiest sets of roofs in Europe. We aren't doing enough about it. People are dying every winter. 8,500 people are dying. So whilst I completely understand the awful disruption and the frustration of people involved, I can't get those 8,500 people out of my head. If I could now, I would put on this screen photographs of all those elderly people who've died in cold homes. Photographs of all
They die in cold homes because they can't afford to heat their homes, because their heating bills are going up, because in part there are subsidies for unreliable renewable energies to the tune of £10 billion a year, which are put onto their heating bills. If you're concerned about those people, we should stop the subsidies, shouldn't we?
Julia, this is not just about this year, this is about the future. One of the reasons I have supported Insulate Britain and have stood outside Downing Street is because I'm so worried about our kids and our grandchildren. They are the ones who are going to cope with what Sir David King, who is the government's own advisor on climate, he has described as we have 3 to 4 years to determine the future of humanity. Now, just take this one on. When you talk about the future of humanity, you're talking about the loss of civilization. Now, those of us who say...
we're all going to be... can you remind me, are we going to all die in the heat, or are we going to be flooded? I can never remember. Which one are we saying this time?
It's lovely that you can make a joke about it. I can't.
I think it's utterly ridiculous. I genuinely think it's utterly ridiculous. I think it's an absolute load of nonsense.
So you see, Julia, last time I spoke to you, I just said, what is the point of having this conversation with a climate denier? Someone who actually thinks they know more than 99%.
I don't deny the climate. There is a climate. I don't deny it.
There's a climate.
If you think it's...
And we are in danger. And we are being told that by experts. Not by you.
Fiona, one final question.
Not by you.
That's fine, Fiona. We don't have to agree. It's called a democracy. We don't have to agree. Fiona, we're running low on time. I just want to ask you, if you think it is justifiable for you to disrupt people's lives who are trying to just get to work, get to school, visit their family members, whatever it is, on, where is it today, Blackwall Tunnel, North Circular Road and Wandsworth Bridge in London, is it also justifiable for what has been happening this morning for drivers to take matters in their own hands and to remove physically protesters from the road? Is that justifiable as well?
No, because that's violence.
Why not?
That's violent.
We're practicing
non-violent. Well, I think you'll find that
they're not punching them; they're just physically removing them from the road.
I think physically removing people when you're another citizen is going. It's a step.
But it's okay to sit in front of someone's car.
That's the police's job.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to leave it there. Fiona, I'm so sorry. We are going to have to leave it there. We're already over time. I do apologise. I'm not using a mute button. Look, no hands. But yeah, 9:47 is the time. It's painful, isn't it? It is. She will just have a moment because it is painful. That's Fiona Atkinson, spokeswoman for Insulate Britain. And again, of course, you've got to remember, they weren't doing those protests, we would never talk about climate change because, I mean, you just never hear about it these days, do you? Never. This is Talk Radio.
Online